Describe the importance of cricket in India.
The importance of cricket in India is huge. It's not, there's a reason why they say it's not a sport, it's a religion in India, because one, the kind of emotion it brings out. Cricket is one sport that everyone has played at some stage in their life in India. And that is why it's so special in people's hearts and minds, and the kind of connect or the kind of ownership or the kind of frustration and emotion they feel with the players and with the team. It's a very organic thing. It's not made up. And I understand that, because growing up when I used to watch games, I used to be involved in a way that nothing else would involve me. And I never understood why, because I never played at that level, but still I would feel like I could have done this. And people actually feel like because they played at some level, the guy shouldn't have done this, he should have done that. But that comes from a very pure source.
90% of cricket fans are apparently in the Indian subcontinent. I understand Bollywood will not release a movie during the 7-week IPL season. To what extent do you think the IPL in India is similar to the NFL in America in terms of passion?
It's huge. The IPL has become that one tournament where for 2 months, people just look forward to it being 8 in the evening, and they just sit together and watch. We as, playing for one franchise, we watch other franchise play, and we get so excited watching the games, and we get fascinated by it. And I can imagine people who are not even involved in the tournament, what entertainment it brings for them. So I think the potential is endless. I believe that IPL is just a platform for you to express your skills and to get better at what you're doing, because it's so highly competitive. But I think the intention should always be to want to play for your country.
How would you best explain cricket to an American audience that's generally unfamiliar with the sport?
It's I've heard a few American people have come to IPL and they've sat down the whole length of the game and tried to understand the game fully, and still they'll leave a bit confused. So I think it's basically, if you understand the basic essentials of the sport and just watch it for the entertainment of it, you'll be very entertained and you'll be fine. But if you go into the finer details, as I said, you can really confuse yourself, because there are a lot of terms that you wouldn't have heard of, or you wouldn't understand what they are. Even when we watch baseball, the only thing I'm worried about is a home run, and just looking at people going mad. So it's basically, if you just relate to the fun part of it, you can really enjoy watching the sport.
Americans would probably be surprised to hear is that you, as I mentioned earlier, you were once at bat for 8+ hours. I'm thinking like December 2016, England. Yeah. Tell about how that happens.
It happens in a very different way. You have a lunch break, which is 40 minutes between play, and then you come back and play again, and then you have a tea break, which is 20 minutes between play. Why they call it test cricket is because it tests you physically and mentally over 5 days. It's not a thing that starts at one time, ends at one time, and you get done with it and move on.
This is a game that lasts 5 days.
Yes, it does. So the beautiful thing about that is, and people find it so bizarre, that how can one game, one match in a sport go on for 5 days? The basic concept behind it is, Test cricket for me is very similar to life. So if things don't go your way on day one, you have to go to sleep, you have to wake up and come back. There's no option of forgetting about it, there's no option of leaving it behind, there's no option of I don't want to do this anymore, because if you don't turn up, you're left with 10 men and you're out of the team. So you have no option but to keep coming. Even if you do well, you have to wake up the next day, work hard all over again. You get a second chance to play, and then you want to work hard, or you have to work hard to do the same thing that you did on day one. And ups and downs through the game. Sometimes you're just batting for 3 hours, not scoring a run. And sometimes life is about that, just being there, just hanging in there, and then wait for your time and then capitalize on it. So it teaches you so many things if you take it in the right way. And I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful that I'm able to play Test cricket for my country. It's taught me things that I could never imagine I could learn.
Why do you feel the commercialization of the game is hurting cricket?
I think the more you commercialize the sport, the quality of the game will come down. That's what I strongly believe in. If you look at the number of games that we play now compared to 10 years back, it's a huge change. You could never imagine cricketers playing so many games throughout the year. And what happens is the quality will invariably go down. I've heard people say that, there's too much cricket to watch sometimes, and we just don't want to watch it. So it affects a lot of things. And if you have a tournament like a World Cup, which is a global tournament, and everyone's watching it, that brings interests. So I think the more impactful tournaments we have, and if the number of games on a regular basis go down, and the more global tournaments where all teams are playing against each other, they increase, I think that's going to sustain the sport really well, not the number.